Welcome to the Green Streets Forum, where we discuss the topics and trends focused on environmental responsibility and green awareness. We're spreading the message about sustainability with a goal to share this information with a diverse community. We all know so that we all grow. And now let's jump into today's episode with your host, Kimberly Bullock.
Well, Green Street Forum family, I had the opportunity to have a wonderful conversation with a innovator and someone that is very, very highly influential in the area of sustainability and law. And his name is Matthew Karmel. He is the principal chair and environmental sustainability. He's the principal and chair of the environmental and sustainability law group at Offit and Kurman law firm. And I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it well. We had a really, really innovative conversation. It was a meeting of the minds, and I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you. This person is so dynamic. Matthew is so dynamic. And the thing that I liked about this conversation with them that I had is that in the midst of all of the things that he did and does and has, he was a very engaging and a very wonderful person to speak with. Again, when you think about environmental sustainability and going green and all of that, sometimes people get a little intimidated and they think, oh, this is completely over my head. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But he was very, I didn't feel that from him. I felt very welcomed and I just enjoyed having this conversation with him, and it was he was very unarming, and I liked that. So, I mean, this is just such a wonderful opportunity that I had. I could go on and on about him and all of the things to say about him. He is the innovator that started the Planetary Lawyer Project, and I'm going to let him speak about it. Again, I'm just going to give you some insight on what we talked about. He is such an advocate. He's recognized by the being part of he does the Green Pro Bono Creative Collaborator. He got this really wonderful recognition in 2025 this year. He was part of the New Jersey Biz Pro. He was part of he was one of the Power Law 50 list in New Jersey, in the NJ Biz. My husband's from New Jersey, so that was a really wonderful thing. And he does the Climate Pro Bono Boot Camp. So again, shout out to Mr. Karmel. I'm going to go through everything that we went through, and then we'll just cut into all of the things that he said. You will find this to be a very enjoyable interview. All right. So we began by talking about the unique role the law plays in advancing sustainability. You know, lawyers don't just work with rules and regulations. That's the first thing we think about is just, lawyers, law. It's just, that's it. They interpret the law. That's it. But there's so many facets to lawyers. Lawyers have a very multi-layered role, and they are also problem solvers, facilitators, and they are also change makers. And we can say that definitely about Matt. They can influence everything from contracts to policy.
So my name is Matthew Karmel, as you said. I'm the chair of the Environmental and Sustainability Law Group at Offit Kurman, which is a AmLaw 200 law firm in the U.S. with offices across the country, full-service law firm. And as I said, I head their Environmental and Sustainability Law Group. That means that I work on traditional environmental law, but also the intersection of that traditional environmental law with cutting-edge sustainability and climate change issues, ranging from food waste recycling, packaging, products, tax credits, all kinds of different interesting things in the sustainability field. I also am the founder of the Planetary Lawyer Project, which is a newsletter that helps lawyers, regardless of their role or experience, get involved in climate, because I believe that any lawyer can work on climate, whether it's a job shift or it's just 1% of what they're doing. And through the Planetary Lawyer Project, we have a bunch of different initiatives that we do. We host an annual Climate Pro Bono Boot Camp, which is a 2-day virtual conference teaching lawyers how to do climate-related volunteering work in the legal industry called pro bono. And we do a lot of other things. We share jobs, all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure we can get the newsletter link in the show notes. But you started off by saying that sustainability has a place in the law, right? And I think I frame it slightly differently, which is the law has a place in sustainability. And one of the organizations that I think is very interesting is the Chancery Lane Project. And this is a nonprofit that is dedicated to helping lawyers to address climate change. And what they believe is that everything we do every day is governed by contracts. Some of those are social contracts, but a lot of them are actual physical contracts. And all of those contracts have impacts on climate change. So one way that lawyers can have impacts on climate change is just to write it into the contracts that we deal with every day. And that can change the behavior of the entire world if we do it like that. And then I'd say that's just one way that lawyers have it. Lawyers sit at an interesting intersection of policy, litigation, advocacy, requirements, contracts, all kinds of different things. We're often the gatekeepers of how things get done, what the mechanisms are, and those pieces. And so we can be huge facilitators and guides and problem solvers and solution people when it comes to climate issues.
And what Matt shared really stood out. It showed that the law isn't just a tool for sustainability, but that sustainability itself, it depends on how we use the law. It is a reminder that even in areas that people might not expect, that like contracts, lawyers can make a good impact. Next, Matthew told us about the Planetary Lawyer Project. This is a really big project, you all. It's founded more than 3 years ago. His vision was to create a space where lawyers, no matter their background, could find ways to contribute to climate action, whether it's a small part of their practice or a full-time focus, because you can find some way to find sustainability in what you do in the area of law.
The Planetary Lawyer Project is something that I founded a little over 3 years ago at this point in time. And it was born from the fact that normally to do climate work, people think I need to go work at a nonprofit or I need to go work at the government. And I don't work for a nonprofit or work for the government. I am a private practice lawyer working for private clients. And I said, okay, how can I go about doing more climate work? And how can I make that part of my career? And I've done it rather successfully, right? I don't do 100% climate work, but I do a good bit of pro bono work. I do a good bit of paid climate work. And I have lots of clients that I work with because they care about the environment and they're aligned on a mission aligned with me on how I'm going to work on these kinds of things. And so I was kind of annoyed that the only answers were work at government or work at a nonprofit, and I had found what I thought was a different way to approach this. And so I started the newsletter to say, here are other ways to do this, right? And initially it was just to share my experience, share what I had done, share how I had built my practice, had a career that included climate work. And then it was realizing that the things that I'm doing, someone could do everything that I'm doing and have a similar career. Someone could do more than what I'm doing and go work at a climate nonprofit. Or someone could do way less than what I'm doing and just dabble a little bit. And there's a huge spectrum of what climate action could mean for a lawyer. And I wanted to invite everyone into doing it because I heard from plenty of people who said, oh, I'm a corporate lawyer, I'm a labor and employment lawyer, I'm an intellectual property lawyer. I still would like to do a little of this work, or I would like to do a lot of this work. And so I tried to create solutions, pathways, programs, initiatives to help people do that, whether it's 1% or 100%, whatever they want to do and whatever timeline they want to do it. I wanted to give them ideas. And so we started that out, started small like anything. We've had several years of amazing growth, partnerships like this where we get to talk about the project. We put out a newsletter every other week. We host events around the year. We have our signature events like the Climate Pro Bono Boot Camp, which we hold once a year. As I said, it's the 2-day virtual conference that goes over how any lawyer can do climate pro bono. We have about 1,750 readers around the world right now who are interested in climate pro bono and climate work and doing more for the environment. And our events bring in a ton of people. I think we had over 1,000 lawyers participate in the 2025 Climate Pro Bono Boot Camp. So it's a full volunteer project that I do in addition to my day job. And it's incredibly rewarding.
And I really appreciated how Matthew explained the different pathways available. It shows that climate work doesn't have to be all or nothing. We don't have to always think of it in an all or nothing lens. Every lawyer can make a difference, whether it's through pro bono work, partnerships, or even just writing stronger contracts. It can be just in the little things. And the growth of the project, with thousands of lawyers engaged worldwide, proves that this idea resonates. It's just like that one drop of water and what it causes. It's just like that one drop effect. And finally, we talked about something deeper, the role of hope and vision in climate advocacy. And that's all we're about here too. In addition to empowering us to learn here in the Green Streets Forum, we want to also infuse a climate of hope in what it is that we do and what it is that we spread.
Hope and vision. I mean, those are evolving things always, right? Like when I started the Planetary Lawyer Project, when I started my career, my vision wasn't as grand as it is now. But I had a little bit of hope, right? I could do this, I could do that. There was something I could do. And I don't think I've ever been someone to just give up and throw my hands up and be done and not do anything. So, right, like even if all I could do is make my community a little better, my little slice of the world a little better, I can start there, right? I can start at my company, I can start at my community, I can start wherever it is that I want to start and keep building and growing, and you'll see different things. And as you said, if you look at it, if you zoom all the way out into the dire headlines, it's hard sometimes to have hope. But if you zoom in and you look at a small slice of something, right, you can see communities coming together, you can see projects advancing, and you see support, right? Like you're doing this stuff with Green Streets Forum, I'm working with the Planetary Lawyer Project. There are these pockets of people working on things, and the amount of people that it actually takes to make a difference is pretty small, because people working hard, people working together have a huge impact. So what gives me hope is seeing the number of people who come to the events that I put together, who work on the initiatives, who read, who email me, who tell me this is something I want to get involved in, right? Like that stream doesn't stop. So whatever's going on, even when things get bad, that stream tends to get stronger. And so that gives me hope. And then the vision comes from that because I hear what people need. I hear what the moment is. And because I have hope, I can go, okay, well, maybe I can look a little further and see what's beyond that, the next step, the next step, the next step. So I think hope and vision feed each other. You have vision, and if you can see a pathway, you can have hope. And once you have hope, you can see a little further down the path. So that's how I try to answer that question.
And again, we want to have that vision feed one another in moments when the challenge of climate change feels overwhelming. I mean, again, we're in such a very turbulent time. It is. We know it. I can't begin to say it, and it's nothing that you and I don't all know. And when the challenge of climate change does feel overwhelming, it's inspiring to hear that progress is happening in communities, projects, and people are coming together. It's a positive and powerful reminder to keep moving forward as we walk along these green streets on our forum. And I mean, again, that wraps it up. with our conversation with Mr. Matthew Karmel, and Matt, as you're looking at this, and we've tied this up in a bow. His work, and I truly appreciate you taking this time to spend with us. It was such an amazing conversation. It was very insightful. I appreciate your time. You're stuck with me. You're stuck with us here at the Green Street. His work, your work, shows us that law can be a powerful force for sustainability, that innovative projects can bring people together. That's all it's about here. That's all what we do, what I say, why you're here, is to bring people together, and that hope and vision could keep us moving forward. So thank you all for joining us on Green Street's Forum. We'll see you in the next episode. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. See, I want my green. I want my green. Always some form of green. So you know that the message, and everything is the same. Hoping that we move forward. You know, the more you grow. Thank you.
This episode of the Green Streets Forum is powered by USB Solar Solutions, distributor of SunSign, a solar-powered signage lighting the way to a cleaner and brighter future. If you enjoyed today's conversation, visit usbsolars.com to learn more. Let's keep pushing forward and power the future of clean energy, one sun sign at a time. Until next time, stay inspired and stay green.